Hey everyone, how's it going today? Coach Alvarez here, back at you another episode, Coffee with Coach. Hope you're up doing well. Got the mind in the right place. If not, as always, let's put it in the right place. So today, I want to share some really, really good stuff with you guys. Again, I listen to so much positive stuff, affirmation type things, mindset type things every single morning. And it's just, my brain is just full of just good advice, good tips. And it's just the way I start my day every day. It's just how I get things moving and going in the right place. So I want to share with you guys something that I heard today that goes right along with a conversation I had with a student last night. And it's just funny that every time I have like certain conversations with someone or something happens, it's like the next day or later on that day, I always come across a video of some sort that pertains to what I just had a conversation with. It's crazy, right? So, but that's the thing. That's the way the universe works. Like when you're looking for something or attracted to something, you are going to find it because that's what your mind and your ears and your eyes are opened up to. Whether it's negative or positive, you will definitely find it. All right. So the situation last night was we're in the locker room after training, and I just saw one of my students. There's quite a few of us in the locker room. Everyone's changing, whatever, getting ready to go home. Practice is over with, and one of my students was like in a deep thought. Like everyone else was talking in full conversation except for this one individual, and you could see where they were just out in space somewhere. They were just in pure thought. So I just kind of interrupted the thought process. I was like, hey, what's going on over there? Like, what you thinking about? Seem like you're going over some moves. You're thinking about, what do you mean? What's going on? And he's like, yeah, I'm just trying to decide, like, I guess, like what to do as far as like, dealing with this situation in my rounds, in one of my rounds. Because one of his teammates has a really good guard, or developing a really good guard, and he's a taller individual, like the one that's in the deep thought. And so he's coming across a problem area where, he's in this position, he's getting sucked into the closed guard, and he's not doing well with it. He's struggling with this position. And this student that's in the deep thought, that's getting pulled into the closed guard, is a higher ranking student than the other one. And so it becomes a little bit frustrating when you're dealing with a situation and you just don't know what to do about it. Okay. And so the question was like, or what his thought process was, should I keep putting myself in this position, or should I try to avoid it as much as possible? And I said, there's a fine line with that, okay, when it comes to jiu-jitsu and everything else, right? Like in this case scenario, you definitely want to go towards that, right? You want to face that problem. You want to deal with it as much as possible, because the more you deal with it, the more you face it, the more you encounter these problems, the more you're in this position. It's just a fact. You're just going to learn how to adjust to it a lot faster and a lot better versus avoiding it. Because if you avoid it, and then every time you get put in this position, you're not going to know how to deal with it because you just keep avoiding it, right? Versus if you go towards the problem, okay, you're allowing yourself to get pulled into this position, and you're learning where to put your hands and how to keep your posture and how to avoid the triangles, arm bars, omoplatas, the guillotines, the sit-up sweeps, all the weapons. I told him it's kind of like the Matrix, right? Like with Neo, the movie. Like you're in this position and you're having to dodge and move and just avoid all these things thrown at you. But just like Neo, you're going to be able to dodge all those bullets and then be able to escape because you've been there so many times. Like you just know what to do. Your instincts and your mind and eyes and everything in your hands are just going to go in the right places because you just been tapped so many times, or you've been swept so many times, or you got your back taken so many times, that now you know how to adjust to these things. And the person on the bottom that are doing these things are going to have to go to a different game or do something else because you're stopping all their things, right? Like the Matrix, like you're just dodging all the bullets. So they're going to have to adjust. Versus you don't face those things and you just keep avoiding them. Again, every time you get pulled into this position, you're going to get swept. You're going to get tapped. You're going to continue to struggle. You're not going to get out. You're wasting time and you're going backwards. So it goes along with what I was listening to on this investment podcast that I'm listening to like on a daily basis. This, I forgot her name already, but you know, the acronym for like FEAR, right? Like, so it was, she says, you got false evidence appearing real, right? And then you have, I thought it was funny, but she said the second one was F everything and run. Okay, so we don't like want to do that one, right? Like that's the avoidance thing. Like that's where you're running from everything. You're never facing any problems. And the third one, she said, or it could be, you know, face everything and rise. Okay, face everything and rise. So I love that because that's the mindset that we should all have. And it's really hard to do because fear stops us from doing everything. It pushes us in a different direction because why? It's just a natural mechanism that our brain just does. Like, I don't want to feel any pain. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to go through that struggle. I want to go to my comfort zone, my safe zone. So it's really like the second one, right? Like it's F everything and run. Like just get the heck out of there as soon as possible. Let's never go back to that place. And let's not ever have to deal with that versus, you know, the third one, face everything and rise. To me, that's the better one, you know. And then the other one also is it's a good one too. The first one is false evidence appearing real because a lot of things in our mind, we conjure up these things and we put these things in our mind and they haven't even happened yet. So it's like, for instance, like with this student, like I don't want to go into the closed guard because what if I get swept or what if I get tapped or what if you don't? Like, what if you don't get tapped? What if you don't get swept? What if you get pulled into the position and you fend off all the weapons that they're throwing at you and then you pass their guard, right? Like that's the mindset. So it's going to be either the first one is a good one. Okay. 2 is a no, right? And the third one should be actually like the best one, right? Like face everything and rise. Like, that's the first time I've ever heard that. I've never heard face everything and rise until this morning. So again, going through the process of what I'm doing, I was like, I got to make some time to share this with you guys because it's just fire. Like it's just everyone should hear this. You know what I mean? So, because again, I'm just turned 47 and I've never heard face everything and rise. I don't know where that's been. I've seen a lot of the other ones. Well, I never seen F everything and run either, but you know, it's always fears, false evidence appearing real. Okay. So, but that fine line though, I was talking about was like, I'm not like in some instances you need to practice going into these positions for like my jiu-jitsu practitioners. You need to practice like getting out of bad positions and dealing with these things and building up your defense. Because like sometimes like a football analogy or basketball or whatever sports analogy, like, you know, sometimes the best offense is the best defense. Like once you understand that, you know that you can deal with any bad situation, then you know your mindset and your confidence starts to build and you're good, right? But then also like I don't want to keep purposely, like I'm not purposely trying to like make things worse for myself. I'm not purposely trying to go backwards in life and make things harder for myself. Like I'm not purposely like trying to screw up my credit, for example, just so I can rebuild it and then put myself in a hole and put myself in a financial burden and put a burden on my family and everything like that. Like I'm not doing that. Like that's absurd. Like that's extreme. Like I'm not doing that. But in some cases, you know, you do want to go towards that thing that you fear, the thing that's giving you problems, so that you can, you know, or basically put yourself in bad positions so that you can learn how to deal with them and build the confidence and the self-esteem to where, you know, hey, look, if I ever get put in this position, you know, I know how to deal with it. And that's what I was telling my student last night. Like I've been training for so long. I've been dealing with so many positions in jiu-jitsu. There's not a lot of things that I haven't seen that I am not really afraid to deal with, because I've just made so many mistakes throughout all these years of being in these positions that I just know how to deal with them now. Now, there's always something you're going to have problems with. I'm not the best at everything, but I'm really good at a lot of things and defending a lot of things because I've just been doing jiu-jitsu for so long and I've never taken a break. So I've just acquired these defenses and these instincts to learn how to deal with certain situations, to where it's like, yeah, you want to go ahead and try that. Because I was giving him an example last night. Like, some people like want to play spider guard, leg lasso, like whatever. I'll give you my sleeves if that's what you want, because I feel confident enough that, you know, I can break those things apart. Now, if it comes to a tournament, I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm trying to win. Like, so I'm not going to allow you to get into your game and give me problems. I'm going to impose my game so that I can win that match. But in practice, if I need to work on something, I'm most definitely going to put myself in positions that I'm not really that good at, so that I can work on those things and work on the defenses and feel confident. Like, hey, if I get put here in a match or in another situation, whatever it is, then I can handle these situations because I'm going towards the fear. I'm going upstream. I'm not going with the crowd and with everyone else. Like, I'm going towards a problem. I want to figure this out. And actually, this podcast I was listening to, like, her motto or her thing that she got from her mom was like, everything is figure outable. Okay, like, that's what it is. So we need to figure it out. Okay, so we need to go towards it, and the only way you can figure it out is to deal with it. And every time you run from it, Eric Thomas said this in one of his speeches one time I was listening to a podcast, was like, you know, whatever you're running from will eventually catch up to you. So whatever you're dodging, whatever you're you know, trying to avoid, will eventually catch you at some point. And when it does, it just most likely won't be good. Versus if you go ahead and deal with these situations that you're not good at, deal with the situations that you fear, you know, you will become good at them because you're used to dealing with them now. It's like anything else. So just some really good stuff I wanted to share with you guys. You know, I have a lot of things still that I need to work on and deal with, but there's a lot of things that, you know, that I feared like moving from my hometown. I moved, fear of quitting a really good job, a really good insurance, working with General Motors. I quit that and went off and taught jiu-jitsu. Feared going on a plane and traveling across overseas to compete in a different country, and what if I lose, and what if I go do all this work and spend all this money and I go and compete and I have lost. You know, I give you an example. Like, I went to Japan like the first two times I went, I lost. So like, imagine like preparing for however many months that I prepared, do all the work, you know, hop on a plane, spend all the money, go all the way to Japan, and then like take second place. Like, that sucks. Like, both times. And then on the third time, you know, I won. Okay, so it's just one of those things. Like, eventually, you know, either can continue running from it and you'll never attain that confidence that you need or that you want, or, you know, just go towards it and you will get it. And eventually you might come up short the first few times or the first however many times, but you will eventually get what you want because you're just so consistent and adamant that you are going to figure this thing out, and you'll figure it out. So just something I want to share with you guys. Like I said, I just saw my student last night in some deep, heavy thought, and he's debating on avoiding a situation or going towards it. And it's practice, it's the training room, it's the laboratory. I use the analogy like, you know, we're scientists in a way. We've got formulas, we're mixing things together, and things are going to blow up in your face. And then eventually you'll find the right formula, and then boom, things start working for you. So for all my jiu-jitsu practitioners out there, like, whatever you're struggling with and dealing with, go towards it more. If someone's giving you a hard time, roll with them more. You know, I had a student the other day mention like, I don't like rolling with you because you don't allow me to have my grips. Well, I mean, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to like let you have grips. I'm here to destroy your grips and smash you, like, you know. But the more this person avoids me during the rounds, like, they don't really want to roll with me. But if they were to roll with me more, they would learn how to adjust to me breaking their grips and get different grips, and they would be able to do better against me. But every time we roll, because there's such a huge gap in between the times that we do roll, they're just always going to struggle with that because they just don't want to go towards rolling with me. They go away from me every time the rounds start. They find someone else to roll with, or I ask them to roll. They don't really want to roll. And so they will always struggle because they're not going upstream and facing the fear. They're going in the opposite direction. So it's always the same outcome: frustration, being upset, like just I hate rolling with you. So eventually, that would stop because everyone that I've rolled with, my students that roll with me the most, they're catching up. They're closing the gap. They're making it harder for me. They're giving me. I'm having to adjust and go to new things because we roll so much that they're figuring it out. So there's a great example. All right, guys, I got my training to do. I'm on my way up to the school academy, get some rolls in. You guys have a great day. Face everything and rise. We'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll see you.